you're always a product of your surroundings and your society. And when you're honest with your surroundings and they accept you for who you are, life becomes much easier in my case.
Comment t'as réagi quand t'as gagné l'Eurovision?
I don't think I've ever felt so much in like so little time. Definitely overwhelmed. It was definitely surreal, but very also full of joy and full of love. And I remember kind of all the artists coming together and they came and it was like a huge group hug. And then I had to go on stage again to perform the song again. And everything went so fast. It was a crazy moment.
Qu'est-ce qui t'a inspiré pour composer The Code?
What I do usually, I have like in my notes app on my iPhone, every time I have like an idea for a song I want to write or like a concept, I write it down. And something I wanted to write about for a long time back then was kind of using the binary code, you know, computer code as a metaphor for being non-binary and using that as like breaking the code. I thought that was such a cool lyrical universe that I just like in the beginning of the session, I was like, hey, I have this idea. Let's do this. It was like a flow, you know, like there's different types of songwritings for me and not necessarily better than the other, but there's the one where you're like thinking about every sentence. You're like, which word is the best word for this? And then there's the one that I call like waterfall mode, where your hands are almost too slow for you because you're like, oh, I have a next idea and I have the next idea. And it's kind of, you have to not even think about it. It just kind of flows out of you. And that was the case that day.
Comment tu as su que t'étais non-binaire?
Realizing that I'm non-binary definitely took a lot of time for me. It was a process. It's not something that happens, you know, like overnight and you wake up and you're like, I'm non-binary. Now everything is clear to me. For me, it was a longer process and it took a lot of courage to open up, you know, like also in my very accepting family and relationship, it still took a lot of courage to do so and a lot of time. I remember a time where I was really lonely with it because I didn't have the right words yet. I wasn't in a place where I felt comfortable enough sharing. There was still a lot of shame surrounding it. And that was a really tough time for me. Opening up in my relationship, in my family, with my friends has been the biggest blessing in my life because I was really lucky and fortunate to have people around me that accept me and understand me, see me for who I am. You're always a product of your surroundings and your society. And when you're honest with your surroundings and they accept you for who you are, life becomes much easier in my case. And I think that took a lot of the difficult things away. It's still a process and I'm still confronted with like things that aren't so nice, but I feel like I have just this very nice safety net of people. The people that I care about me, and that is a really nice thing to know.